I'm sorry, but your makeup does not look good unless your base hits. So I'm gonna share foundation tips that actually changed my life. So I've just done a little DIY sheet mask using the Klairs Vitamin Skin Prep Pads. I woke up with my skin feeling so dry, so we're gonna add extra hydration with the Rhode Glazing Mist. Purito Oat In Calming Gel Cream as my moisturizer. Beauty of Joseon Day Dew Sunscreen. Very satisfying. I'm gonna let my skin prep sit and soak into my skin before we put on our base. Time to prime. I'm oily on my T-zone, drier everywhere else, so we're gonna use a combination. First with the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Primer on my T-zone. I've been recently loving the new Fenty Hydrating Plumping Primer everywhere else where I'm not oily. Okay, this is like way too tacky right now, so I'm gonna let my primer sit for a bit before we continue. I'm gonna use the Makeup by Mario F4 brush and the MAC Fix Plus to damp my brush. I always like applying my foundation with a damp brush. I just feel like it absorbs and mixes in with my skin prep a lot better. I'm gonna first warm this up in the back of my hand, take a lot of it off so that I can slowly build up my base in thin layers. And since my hair is up, I'm also going to bring it to my ears and a little bit back there because you don't want to like see that separation. Second layer is just to build coverage where I need it. So I'm going to use the smaller tip of this brush and just add a little bit more around the sides of my nose and also on my chin. And I always follow up blending my cream products with a sponge, even though I've blended everything with a brush. And I feel like this step almost makes it more skin-like. The Westman Atelier Contour Stick, product to brush. Then I even warm it up on the back of my hand and then to the skin. When I can, I try to match my foundation brand with my concealer brand, so I'm going to use both Natasha Denona today. This is my favorite concealer, and now I think this is my favorite foundation. So especially with a product like this where it's so high coverage, if you apply too much, it's going to start creasing and start looking cakey. As always, after blending with a brush, we're going to take our sponge and reblend this. And I really like to blend and set each area one by one. I'm going to smoothen this before we apply. I'm using a slightly brighter shade just to like brighten my under eyes. And I always kind of blend it down the sides of my nose a little bit as well. All right, time for some cream blush using the Rhode Blush in Plum. And I always, with blush as well, this is actually so pigmented. And I like to blend my blush up to the temples and almost bringing it on my under eyes a little bit. I'm gonna take my foundation brush with that leftover foundation and I'm just going to smooth out this transition over here. This is the difference between seamless makeup and patchy makeup, I think, to me. Like, you see how this side is way more blended. So we're gonna set it section by section. We're always gonna reinforce our cream products with our powder products and dusting on some powder bronzer and also a powder blush. And for a very light hand, I almost hold the brush towards the end just to like help me control how heavy-handed I'm going. And then once I've done with the rest of my makeup, I'm going to take the Fenty Beauty Invisimatte powder and I'm going to use this as a finishing powder to just smoothen and diffuse any harsh edges. Longwear blurring spray. This is from Pat McGrath and this is the final look.